2 years ago, I looked nothing like this. I was fat, I was always tired, had no confidence, but today I've lost all my fat, built muscle, and completely transformed my life. In this video, I'll break down exactly how I did it. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just the way I did it. It took me 2 full years to get there. And that might sound like a long time, but it's the fact that it was slow and steady that made this body transformation possible. Because, for example, I didn't have to worry about small weight increases or decreases every day when weighing myself. So instead of having this shorter goal, I had a much further goal ahead, which made me less worried about the day in weigh-ins. It taking 2 years really gave me enough time to dial in my training. And this led to less injuries and more confidence in the gym, for example. And the fact that it did take 2 years really gave me enough time to experiment in the kitchen and trying new things with my nutrition. This gave me enough time to look for recipes or certain foods that were easy and fast to make. So in this video, I will give you 3 points that I followed that gave me most of my results. Point number 1, nutrition. Honestly, dialing in my nutrition made the biggest difference in my body transformation. It fueled my workouts, it made me less hungry, and it made life so much more enjoyable not having to think about food. Tracking my calories was the most important part of that. It removed the guesswork and really made me confident in the process of this weight loss. And when I mean tracking, I really do mean tracking. I tracked every calorie, every liquid that I drank.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That had calories in it, I tracked. So there was nothing that I didn't know about. There were no unknowns. Giving yourself all that knowledge of what you're eating or consuming really empowers you to do the right decisions in the future. And while tracking your food is important, it's also about what foods you're tracking. For example, popcorn is a very famous low-calorie dense food that will fill you up and don't have that many calories. And what worked for me the most, the second I had any craving, I would just pop open a Pepsi Max and that would fulfill any craving I had. It really is the best appetite suppressor for me, at least. You should also try and aim for a high protein diet. Having a lot of protein in your diet really does also help with the hunger, because protein stays in your stomach and it takes longer to digest, so it would keep you fuller for longer. So when looking for recipes, try and find high protein recipes that are both easy and fast to make and taste okay. And for supplements, I only used 3 things, and that is creatine, a general multivitamin, omega-3s, and a whey protein. Those 4 supplements were the only thing that I took during these 2 years, and they are the only thing that I've found that have any scientific backing on them, or at least concrete scientific backing to them. Point number 2, training. In the beginning, I started out with a PPL split, which means push-pull legs. This split is pretty basic, and it means that you're alternating between a push day, a pull day, or a leg day, and then taking a rest day. This, I believe, you should use in the beginning phase of your training. But then later on, when you get more experience in the gym, you can try and experiment on creating your own split that works for you. Because after a while, I created my own split that were based on my own needs, where I had, for example, a full shoulder day, and then I added a bit of abs to have some variety. But I did that because for me, it was really important to grow out my deltoids. So I had and added a whole day for it. In the beginning, I did have rest days, but after a while, I removed them because I found that they weren't needed. I had enough days between my for example, chest and tricep day to recover for the next session. So I removed rest days completely. Exercise selection isn't the most important thing. You just have to learn the movements. That's the most important part. Understand what muscles do what movements and build your program around that. Find variations of the same movement that you enjoy and that lets you push yourself comfortably. This allows you to push yourself a lot harder and without the risk of injury, whilst enjoying the movement still. And for the love of God, stop doing drop sets. They are completely unnecessary, and the only thing they're good at is just adding unnecessary fatigue to your training. They just increase your muscle fatigue without giving your muscles growth stimuli. If you're already pushing yourself hard enough during your sets, then the added training volume from drop sets is just more junk volume. If you get 12,000 steps a day, then you're good. But be prepared to add in cardio sessions if you're cutting down. The most effective cardio is the one that you can stick to. For me, it was a treadmill. I put it on a steep incline with a slow pace and I just walk. At most, I did 30 to 40 minutes every day after every gym session. But if you don't like the treadmill, then find another activity that you can do. For example, like basketball, but make sure not to injure yourself. And just know that it takes a lot more recovery to recover from a basketball session, and it could hurt your performance in the gym. The third point and the last point is train with purpose and make it fun. With purpose, I mean have a goal that you want to achieve and live by that goal. Understand that the only thing that's standing between you and your dream physique is yourself. In other areas of life, for example, your job, your progress in your career is limited by your boss. But in the gym, you have absolute freedom. And when you're in the gym, be focused. Think about the movements that you're doing and why you're doing them. Think about the intensity of every rep and set that you do. I want you to geek out about your own training. And the last thing that really worked for me was having something to look at that supported my training. I found different fitness YouTubers early in my journey that clarified a lot of things about training. For example, I was lucky to find Greg Doucette that cut a lot of BS and just called me out on my laziness. But the thing that helped me the most was watching anime. Animes like Naruto, JJK, Solo Leveling, and Black Clover all follow characters that constantly push themselves to get stronger and better. It low-key made a big difference being constantly reminded to push yourself beyond your own limits. I even caught up with One Piece, and it was the anime that I watched the most on the treadmill. So technically, One Piece made me shredded. These 3 points and the fact that I followed them gave me all of my results. I hope you learned something during this video, and something hopefully that you can apply to your own training. And I hope it wasn't terribly boring for you. Thank you for watching.